Hi everyone, so today I wanted to talk to you about responding to OCD. Is any response to OCD a form of avoidance? And is it a good thing to refocus or not? Now, there's a few things here. Ideally, you should not respond to an OCD thought. So, for example, say if you have driving OCD, saying, no, I didn't hit anybody, this is just my driving OCD, that's like reassurance. And it really is, right? But, that's only in theory. In practice, try not to respond at all. It's very, very difficult, especially if you're in the beginning of OCD recovery. Eventually, when your OCD, like anxiety, is like 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, you can do that. But when your anxiety is very high, saying nothing, like not giving any response, it's pretty much impossible. So, because a lot of the times the doctors are like, well, no, you shouldn't respond to OCD because you're doing reassurance or you're doing avoidance if you're refocusing, right? So, like if you're refocusing on something else, it's like avoiding, right? But, what are you going to do? Sit in an empty room and not think about OCD? So I find that is, in theory, yes, it would be better to not do either of those things, but in practice you need something to occupy your mind, to switch where your thinking is going, where your attention is going. So and you also need to label it as OCD, especially in the beginning. So I find that in those two cases, reassurance and avoidance are not necessarily bad, because what are you really doing here? You're saying to an OCD thought that, yes, this is an OCD thought, I'm moving on. So you're training your brain in the right way. You're not doing it out of fear, saying, like, is this an OCD thought? Is it not? Let me solve it. Let me look more into it. You're not looking more into it. All you're saying is, this is an OCD thought. I'm not paying any more attention to it. I'm moving on. So you are labeling it as kind of like a reassurance, but you're not going any further into figuring it out. Because if you are going further, then that's bad, But if you're not and you're just saying that, I think that even though it is kind of reassurance, it's fine. And with the avoidance, you're taking your attention, which was before solely on OCD, and putting it into something productive and something else, right? So technically, you're saying to your brain, OCD is not important, this thought is not important, I'm focusing it on something that is important, which is something else. So, because that's the right thing to do, that it makes sense, it's logical, it's the correct way of teaching the brain how to react. So again, you're showing the brain the correct way to behave when these thoughts are coming in. So I don't really think it's bad, because I've had a lot of people ask me, is this okay? Because it is kind of reassurance and it is kind of avoidance. And yes, it kind of is, but I don't think it's bad. Now, it's important to mention that you want to make sure that you're not coming from a place of fear when you're doing these two things. So when you're refocusing, right, there's two ways you could do this. You can say, oh my God, I'm so scared, I have to refocus. That's not a really good thing, because then you are showing your mind that you're afraid and you're like running away from it, right? But if you're saying, I'm in control, this is OCD, this is the same stuff over and over again, I'm refocusing, I'm not dealing with this anymore. Do you see how it's the same action, but the power behind it is different? In one, OCD is in full power, and in the other, you are in full power. So you need to be coming from a place of power, not what OCD is telling you. And then same thing with when you're saying it's OCD, like when you're labeling it as OCD, you want to say, yes, this is an OCD thought. No, I'm not paying attention. Not, oh my God, is this an OCD thought? Like, not from a place of fear, because that's very important. If you show your mind, and it's kind of like putting on a show, because obviously when you're in the middle of an OCD attack, but just try to gather everything you have and just refuse with as much power as you can. And I'm telling you, it's going to come back to you with more strength. Like you are going to gain strength from this, and an OCD is going to obviously lose strength. So it does work, and it's just continuing to practice. It's like, not, once a day is not enough, or once a week or whatever. Every moment of every day you get a thought, you should be practicing this. So this is just kind of a short video explaining the two things. And I hope you guys watch my OCD live this week. If you have questions, please ask them anywhere on underneath any of the videos, but just make sure you label it as something that I can reply on the show, or you can email me. My email is info@youhaveocd.com. You can also visit youhaveocd.com. There's a private recovery program there with me. There's tons of articles, there's ebooks there, so please check that out. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.